The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television, brought to you live September 24th, 2021. Do you realize that in 1 month from today, I'll be probably sitting on the stoop in front of the Hyatt, complaining about how bad my feet hurt. That's what I'll be doing today. Anyway, everybody, tonight we have a great show lined up for you. We have Amelia Kinkade of Night of the Demons fame, and my co-host tonight is the ever fun and bubbly and all that stuff, and she has the cutest sneeze we just learned, Cece.
So cute.
Now, we're not going to waste a lot of your time tonight, Amelia. We're just going to get right into it because we have a lot to talk about between movies and the whole pet psychic thing. So we just want to jump right into it. Everybody, we'll have our little announcement thing at the half-hour mark like we always do. We got some sponsors to thank somewhere during the show. But getting right into it, okay, now first, right out of the gate, I got to ask one movie question because I'm totally into the whole psychic. But the movie question I have to ask is, where did you go after Night of the Demons 3? IMDb just says you did Night of the Demons 3, and then you poof.
Okay, I don't know why, but I got a lead role on The Young and the Restless. Of course, playing yet another tiger bitch from hell, villain, who kills everybody, of course. And nobody ever talks about that. I don't know why.
Well, if it's, we need to.
So that's what I did. I was on The Young and the Restless.
Well, see,
and I, until the day that I found a bunch of scripts on my doorstep. Now I know they're not watching, so I can badmouth somebody. My storyline was heating up. I was brought on to rat out one of the leads on the show. And I was going to accuse him of being a murderer. And he had murdered my best friend. So I come out of the past. And I'm flouncing around in the apartment next to his, spying on him, dressed as an old movie star, as one does. You know, cigarette in one hand and a martini in the other. And I'm talking to myself the whole time. And it just kept broiling. It just kept heating up. Kid you not. First time in my life that I got fan mail, it arrived in a trash bag. And it was huge. I mean, huge. And I went, oh, this is nuts. This is crazy. Well, the next thing you know, I go and check my script 6 months into this, thinking I'm going to be on this show for years. And they've electrocuted me in the tub. Didn't even show it. I didn't even get to do the whole thing. Oh, come on, in the bubbles. And the boss's daughter got my storyline. So she got to solve the whole thing and get the guy off the show. And so that was that for that. And it wasn't much longer after that that I started writing books.
Now, now that's a good segue into what I want to talk about. I know all the people in the chat room, you probably have questions about the movies and everything, but I'm intrigued. I'm going to preface it to you this way. The only psychic, and I see a lot of psychics. I'm in that world. I'm in the paranormal world. I'm in the psychic world. But the only psychic that ever made me cry was a pet psychic. So I'm coming at this from a very loving way. You said it was a big long story, but when did you learn that you had this connection with animals?
Well, first of all, I don't like the word pet, being that I work with the Olympic show team
True.
and great white sharks and gorilla in Rwanda and elephants all over the world and tigers all over the world. And if anybody at home has a cat, they know who is whose pet.
True.
Touche.
You are the human monkey and the pet of that cat.
Yes.
Tell me it isn't so. It is so.
Absolutely.
Right. So I discovered it quite by accident, and it was miraculous because I didn't know it was possible. Who would know it was possible? I mean, I grew up in a very metaphysical world, so I always had one foot in dream time, which made the whole demons dance and the demons, the magic behind it all came very naturally to me. But I discovered the way that you did. I guarantee that you don't think it's true. You don't know what's going on. And I actually wrote a book about this. It was in this book that I tell this story. This is called Straight from the Horse's Mouth. This is now published in about 37 countries, bestseller in several countries, which I'm incredibly flattered to have that happen. And it's also been what was a cult movement and now kind of a part of pop culture. And I've been beating these doors down for 19 years. Like, I got published in 2001. And at that time, the woman who taught me was named Beatrice Lydecker. And she was coming to town to solve the problems of the veterinarians all over America. She's driving all over America with a van full of dogs. And when a vet couldn't figure something out, they called Beatrice Lydecker. She also worked on secret police cases. And I have two, actually. And one of those stories, it's funny, I didn't realize I even had these here. And I usually teach my webinars from here. It's actually in this book. There is a crime case that I worked on with Scotland Yard where a dog witnessed a murder that had been dismissed as a suicide. So, but a story for another day. So Beatrice Lydecker saw my cat. I took my very loud, hilarious, naughty howler of an orange tomcat to see her. What I call a loudmouth, needle-nosed redhead, the Honda Civic of cats. You've seen one, you've seen them all, but what personalities they have. And this cat would not stop screaming. So he got me kicked out of one apartment building, was about to get me kicked out of another apartment building. And I took him to Beatrice Lydecker, who completely and totally blew my mind. So this is what I teach. When somebody does it for you for the first time in your life and says, I'm asking your cat his favorite place to sleep in your house. And he says it's on the back of a peach-colored armchair that's covered in white flowers, and it's next to a big bay window, and across the street is a wooden fence. Behind that wooden fence is a little white dog. Did you know your cat goes over there and makes that dog bark? How many people have a peach-colored armchair in there?
Wow.
How many people have a little white dog across the street?
Nobody.
I didn't know that my cat went over there and made that dog bark. She went on to solve my problem. And a lot of male animals, especially dogs, because they're pack animals, but often, and cats are colony animals. Sometimes you'll have a little boy animal that cannot be left alone. They shouldn't be alone. And people don't think in those terms with colonies of cats, but in the wild, you've got prides and you've got cats that hunt in groups. Lions do, tigers don't. But a lot of cats are extremely social. So there is no way to make a long story short. She taught a workshop, and I took this workshop thinking I would be the only person in the room who couldn't do it. And then everybody felt that way. And then now when I'm teaching, I mean, I could have over 100 people in a room and say, how many of you feel like you're the only person in this room who's not going to be able to do it? And all the hands go up. And that's part of the way this process works. One hemisphere of the brain might not be aware of the other hemisphere of the brain. In this case, the listening device, what used to be thought of as the creative hemisphere of the brain, is actually the part of us that's connecting us to the universe. I mean, Beethoven didn't go to the piano and invent anything. I also wake up in Beethoven symphonies, so I know what that's like. I know what he heard, and it's these realms of absolutes where some great writers say, I put my characters in a room and I listen to them talk to each other. I mean, I heard a Pulitzer Prize winner say that once. So we're tapping into something that already exists, and all we have to do is learn how to quiet our mind, quiet our emotions, and get into a space where there is nothing but love and grace and joy and peace and silence. And the ability to see that animal's point of view, the ability to put your emotions aside. And this is what trips everybody up. They want the dog to do this. They want the cat to do that. They want to be in control of this horse. And it's not going to work that way. The way it works is that you listen to them. What does he need? What does he want? What is he feeling? What is she feeling? Is she frustrated? Is she angry? Is she lonely? Is she missing the puppy she never had? Is she longing for something that she can't have? And when we're in that space of empathy, some sort of magical thing happens in our minds, in our hearts, in our souls, in our body. And we're able to actually tune in and listen to other living beings. So I looked down at a notebook that was stained with tears, and I was crying hysterically, first time I ever tuned into a dog, and completely witnessed her world from her point of view. And she was running along the grass. There was a big pine tree in front of a trailer home, and she was running toward a chain link fence and putting her mouth up to lick the lips of the neighbor's dog.
Oh.
And it was when I asked her, have you ever had puppies? And she said, no, but if I could have, I would have wanted to have them with him. I said, what happened? She said, mother got divorced and took me away in the divorce and then got me fixed. Well, I look down, I feel their pain. And that's part of what this process is. Being an empath means that you will feel their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have the strength to transform that into comfort and joy and hope and light, and say, okay, we're going to release that pain, that trauma, whatever it is that is blocking you. And she showed me all the neighborhood cats. And she said, I take care of all the neighborhood cats now that I can't have puppies. Well, when I relayed this to the human, she burst into tears and said she lived in this trailer home with this big pine tree in the front, and she didn't realize her dog was so in love with the neighbor's dog, and they moved away when she got divorced, and she got the dog fixed, and now the dog takes care of all the neighborhood cats. Well, when it happens, your mind is so blown. One thing that you find out, you have this ability to remote view that all human beings have, and that we aren't aware of because we're taught that we don't have it. But when we're taught that we do have it, it's really easy to access. And the other thing is learning that their scope of thought and emotion is not only so much larger than what we're being told or what we could imagine, that it is usually much larger than ours. Your cat has more philosophical thoughts than you do, and ability to heal himself of impossible things. So, I mean, they're traveling the galaxies. Your dog loves more deeply than you do.
I actually agree with all that.
You know, so it's, I can teach it, and because I can teach it, and because I see maybe hundreds of thousands of people by now. I mean, I've lectured in 27 countries in the last 19 years. A lot of those countries, every single year, I hit all these different countries. What I find is that everyone has it. I mean, to varying extents. Maybe somebody isn't going to get names and medical details and histories, but the more you practice, the more you develop your skills. It is a learned skill that you can actually develop.
Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, CC, we'll go straight to you. Everybody, Scarefest TV is what you're watching with Amelia Kinkade.
Horror. Movie. Fans. 4. Life. On Facebook. Find us. 4 watch parties. 4 news. 4 memes. 4 friends. 4 life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company.
Cece, over to you.
So we're back and we are talking with Amelia Kinkade. And Amelia, you were just talking about what it means kind of to be an empath and be able to have sensitivity to these animals. And I have to ask you, is being an empath, is it for you a superpower or is it a super stressor? Because lots of empaths say that it can be very draining. So how do you handle that?
It's a superpower.
It is.
So being able to have a conversation with an elephant or a dolphin or a great white shark, look, it makes me cry.
Yeah.
I've been doing this my entire adult life and it makes me cry. An eagle, an owl, a bunny, a giraffe, a hippo, a crocodile, a tiger, a lion, a cheetah, a leopard, gorilla, baboon. It's not us and the animals. We are animals. We are animals. They are the other animals. And a lot of those animals are far, far more advanced than we are. And I think that's the whole reason that so many people might turn up their nose and say, oh, that's ridiculous. It's just a dog. Oh, no, it's not. It's not just a dog. There's no such thing as just a dog. And if we came to them with humility, then they can teach us things about how to save this planet and live on this planet and live in harmony with each other and with the environment and with everything that we have that we are destroying. So there couldn't be anything more beautiful than that. Now, the trying thing is that you have to translate the information for the human in a way that they're going to hear it without getting defensive, so that they're going to understand what's going on, that they're going to understand that it's their behavior that is creating the bad behavior in the animals. And when they're willing to take responsibility for what they're doing wrong, then it's easy to create these beautiful relationships and help people with whatever sort of creature it is. And in the horror movies, I play creatures, and in Night of the Demons too. I was in snake makeup for 27 and a half hours.
Ooh.
I mean, I had little arms, so I was kind of an iguana,
A beautiful iguana.
I know, a very scary one, I think. With Steve Johnson standing off screen, whipping my tail around with a piece of dental floss. Want to talk about low budget? Now that's low budget. When you've got dental floss as a prop, when he's smoking cigarettes and blowing it into tubes in my dress to make it look like smoke was coming out. It's so incredible that these movies are still around.
And Amelia, they have celebrated you as the first female monster in horror movie history. How do you feel about that?
I hope I keep that title for the rest of my life.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah. And we look at what I'm talking about. I mean, the creatures that I adore and love with all my heart and soul. I can't even think about them without crying. A lot of people then consider them to be monsters. I work with tigers. I work with great white sharks. I work with black mamba. I have had spitting cobra in my workshops. I like spiders. I like bugs. So that I love bats. So yeah, it's a matter of perspective. Like, what do you think is beautiful? What do you admire? I love animals that can defend themselves. I think that's fabulous. I want them to be able to defend themselves. They should be able to eat every human alive.
So I have to ask, being an empath and being able to talk with the animals and being an actress, what do you prefer?
They have blended into one big monstrous blob. Because if I'm teaching a workshop, I'm using my dancing, I'm using my acting. My charity in Africa, I teach wildlife conservation in the schools to the kids. So I go into the most rural communities where there can be barefoot children in a room filled with other children that have shoes and uniforms. They have to be sponsored to go to school in Zambia. And we dance as elephants, we draw elephants, we paint elephants, we make up plays about poaching and protecting animals. In South Africa, I do it with a lions. In Rwanda, I do it with a gorilla. In Zimbabwe, I did it with a pangolin. So, and I work with big cats. And it's all one thing. It's a way to express information. The beautiful thing about writing the books, I've got 6 books out, and getting to teach the workshops is that it's all authentic. It's coming straight from me. I'm not reading words off a page that somebody else wrote. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about the internet now is that I can get on and teach webinars because I've got an online school, and I'm not censored. I'm not censored. So
being an empath and working with the animals, how many animals do you have at home?
I don't.
No?
No, I don't. Because I've been living out of a suitcase for so many years. And my books were, when I did, they're cats. And when I get settled again, they will be cats. I'm still living on the wind right now.
So when you are resting your head someplace longer term, where are you?
It was Los Angeles for most of my life, My favorite aunt was in Hollywood. That was Blanche on the Golden Girls.
From the Golden Girls, absolutely. We all love Blanche.
And when I went to Hollywood to be a dancer, she said, Mimi, you're going to be an actress. You're going to be an actress. She pushed me into it, and I never would have done it. And when I auditioned for Demons 1, she said, it's a job, it's a role, it's the lead role, and you're taking it. And I went, okay. So here we go. Right now, though, it could be anywhere because, I used, before COVID, I'd spend as much time in London or Paris or South Africa or Zambia or Switzerland as I did in America.
And how did you find yourself in your role as Knight of the Demons? How did that happen for you?
Oh, I was just playing myself. I really was. I was just playing myself.
Did you audition for the role, or
I
they sought you out?
auditioned for the role, and the casting agent says to this day she can't think about it without wanting to pee in her pants. I kind of climbed over her desk and got in her face and started flirting with her and smiling and threatening to kill her. And, you know, and Tedra Gabriel loved it. And Joe Augustin, who was the writer on Demons 1, was my champion in that because he had just seen me in a rock video called Sexy and 17 with the Stray Cats, which was my...
Wow. Yes, absolutely.
And he wanted a dancer in the role. And if you look at it now, that even the length of that dance sequence, that would never happen in a movie now. Everything's smash cuts. You don't even have a moment to absorb something before it goes to the next CGI special effect. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't have the luxury of this long dance. And that's why I wanted the movie. I wanted to go absolutely wild. And that's kind of the theme of everything. I mean, the latest book, Another Plug, Whispers from the Wild, opens with a chapter about tigers and my Aunt Rue and miracles with my Aunt Rue when she was dying in New York. So,
and for our viewers who are looking for that book, Miracles of the Wild, where can they find that?
Whispers from the Wild. Now, these are on Amazon. If you go to Amazon Smile and you click on Amelia's Archangel Society, that's the charity in Africa. We're going to get rolling again this year. I've already got people interested in the safari. So every November, I take people to the only safari park in the world where elephants walk through the lobby.
Wow. And
this particular elephant family has adopted me. So there will be 5 elephants waiting around my tent or my chalet before my plane lands, before I know where I'm going. If I go in early to stay in a tent camp, they will know where I'm going and they'll be there already. And when I get picked up in the airport, a guy will come rushing up to me in tears. Big man, African guy saying, "Milady, we knew you were here. The elephants are waiting in." So it's, we learn from them. We learn from them. These are our master teachers, these animals. So with the movies, the most common question I don't want to get to cover this because I know somebody's out there who wants to ask this question. How did the makeup feel? Horrible. Horrendous.
Why so horrible?
Especially for the hour and a half that they were going to peel it off of me after I'd been in it all night. Trust me, when you've had that on your face and you've looked like that 6.5 hours to get it on. That was just the basic one. So Steve Johnson had hooked our cheeks behind our head. So we had Velcro behind our head. And that's why you get this effect, like this, mommy, my ponytail's too tight. So it makes the fangs pop out. It makes it look ridiculously creepy. So after he glued everything on and poked and painted and tortured for 6.5 hours, then I'd be up for 12 hours, sometimes on roller skates.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's the other secret. Everyone wants to know how they do that scene in the hall. Well, they put me on roller skates and they push me. And I'm going, ah! And it looks amazing. It really looks amazing.
They did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. So not only are you lovely, you're an actress, you're a philanthropist, you are an empath, you can talk to the animals. Is there anything you can't do?
I don't speak Korean yet.
And with that, Wes is going to take us into the next commercial break.
Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, but I got to follow up when I come back. Everybody, we'll be right back with more Scarefest TV after this commercial break.
She does not speak Korean.
TellMeTarot.com. Rare tarot and oracle decks for the discerning enthusiast or collector. Art decks are not for everyone. If you are a rare deck collector, art collector, or simply fall in love with a deck, then we might be for you. Right now, get 10% off your first order just for subscribing to their newsletter. Shipping is just $5.99 in the United States. TellMeTarot.com.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
And welcome back, everybody. Of course, we dropped it on Facebook this week because we could not wait to announce Christine Elise is back for Scarefest 2021. Scarefest 13 Resurrection. You know her from Child's Play and Chucky and just all kinds of tough girl parts that she played. Christine Elise. Now, celeb photo ops are on sale. We finally got the photo ops on sale. I do not have anything to announce that's not on the website. And the reason I don't, because I have no clue. They don't, I'm not in that particular loop. I know they've still got a bunch to put up. I can tell you that most of the group ones that you're asking about, they will be there. It's a math, they got to do math and all that stuff. But anyway, celeb photo ops are now on sale. Go to thescarefest.com, click any celeb photo op link. 13 Slays Till Christmas will be having a theatrical premiere and panel discussion with like maybe 6 to 12 of the people. It's an anthology movie, so there's like more than one director. It's complicated, but anyway, 7 p.m. PJ Starks, who a lot of us in Lexington, Kentucky know, 7 p.m. October 23rd. It is included with any Scarefest pass. You can watch it, or if you don't want to come Scarefest, you can just buy a dang ticket. Also, now this is coming up. Let's see, that is Friday, October 22nd. Now this is a 10 p.m. showing, but our film festival presents its feature presentation for the evening, and that is Cruel Summer, written and directed by Scott Tepperman of Ghost Hunters International fame. Of course, he's going to be at the convention. He'll be introducing the movie to you. So that's coming up that night. Okay, the costume contest. We've been asked about this on Facebook. I don't think we've ever got the word out. It's been added to the schedule. The judging, pre-judging, will take place 4 p.m. Saturday on the floor, on the main stage, the main entertainer stage, they call it. Then the finalists from that, the final judging, the finalists, the final round, if you will be at the VIP party on Saturday night at Lex Live. Now, if you don't have a VIP ticket, of course, anybody who qualifies gets a VIP ticket to go to that party. But the way Lex Live is laid out, you can just go to the other part of the building and you'll be able to hear the contest. You'll be able to see most of it. In other words, the VIP party is in one bar. There's a whole hallway and another bar right next to it. So it's just going to be a big conglomeration of Scarefest people. But the costume contest is scheduled. Look on the website under the schedule and you'll get everything there. Also, there's one on Sunday for kids. Now, Casualty Friday coming up at Lex Live. We've changed the venue. We've moved it back to the floor of the convention to include more people, to give more people access to Felissa Rose, Kane Hodder, Tiffany Shepis. We've changed time to 7 p.m., I believe it is. It's on the schedule. Go to thescarefest.com, click schedule, and you'll know when you'll be able to sit in on Casualty Friday, but it is now included with your pass. Axe throwing with killers. Popular event. We're only about halfway sold out, though. We thought by now we'd be closer to being sold out. So you can still get passes for throw axes with killers, and don't forget, if you don't want to throw them, if you just want to watch and be a part of the event, watching it, spectator passes are on sale. And of course, in honor of our guest, Scream Queens and the Lex Live Bowlerama. So anyway, we've got the bowling celebrity event with a lot of the lovely ladies of the Scarefest, Amelia being one. Her team is not sold out last time I checked. There's still a couple of spots left on it. She's in like 3rd place right now for selling out. But anyway, the point is you can still get tickets to that. There won't be any spectator tickets for that. Don't ask, because the bowling alley's not big enough to hold a lot of the spectators. So, there you go. So, if you want to bowl with Scream Queens, and that's the one I'm thinking about, because it's the only sport you can be drunk and still be half good at. Okay, gallery reading. Tessa Del Zoppo will be doing a psychic medium gallery reading. We've moved it also. It is now Friday night at 8 p.m., right at the end of the con across the street. Give her a few minutes to freshen up, and then we will have her gallery reading. She wanted someplace quiet, more personal, where she could concentrate. And so we moved her to a movie theater. So we got that going on. Tessa Del Zoppo tickets are on sale. And all this is available at thescarefest.com, thescarefest.com. And don't forget, if you're waiting for the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in October, keep waiting, because we're not having one until November because we're too damn busy. Now, okay. Now, here's my follow-up question to not knowing how to speak Korean. When you communicate with an animal, what if you were communicating with, say, a Korean pig?
Okay. So I actually I'm not kidding, because my first 2 books are bestsellers in Korea, and I was on my way to Seoul when for the first time, and incredibly excited about it when COVID hit. So I haven't lectured there. I haven't done television there. I intend to. It's going to be one of my first stops. So let's say, okay, I'm teaching in Mexico, and the people speak Spanish. I'm teaching in Norway. The people speak Norwegian. I'm teaching in Brazil. The people speak Portuguese. Do the animals speak Spanish and Norwegian and Portuguese? No, the people do. So you've got words to describe certain objects.
Right.
All right, this is a phone. That's a phone in English. But if we were going to name it in Chinese or in French or in any other language, right, they'd have a different word for it. It doesn't make it a different object. So when we're working with animals, sensations, emotions, events, everything they've ever eaten or smelled or tasted or touched or loved or hated or been afraid of, those things, the humans name different words in different languages, but the information is raw. It's absolute. So we're going under it. I mean, movie fans think of it this way. Let's say we turn the sound off and you're watching a movie. Chances are you can probably figure out what's going on. You can follow it pretty easily.
Okay.
You don't need the soundtrack to see the story. And every living creature has a story. I mean, every tree has a story. Every waterfall has a story. Every star has a story. And we're going into a realm that's deeper and more soulful than the words we use to describe things. I don't need the conversation to talk to a gorilla.
And Amelia, you are the only psychic to ever have been invited to Buckingham Palace to speak with the horses owned by Queen Elizabeth. How was that?
It was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal.
And what did they say to you?
And I hope I won't be the last. I hope my students, there's going to be a whole new generation. That is a story that would take an hour to tell.
Yeah.
It would take an hour to tell. And, you know, that I've had the incredible honor of winning the Longines Global Championship Tour in Rome and Vienna with Luciana Denise, who jumps for Portugal in the Olympics. So they flew me, and I got to work with the world's top show horses.
Wow.
And they hired me to make sure they won. And in one case they did, and in another case, I will defend the animal over the person. If I say, all right, we won yesterday, we don't need to win today. And the next day, Bruce Springsteen flew in to watch his daughter and the horses through the show to make sure she won.
Yeah.
So here you are, you're an actress, you work with the animals, you're a dancer. What projects do you have coming up that we can watch out for?
Well, I'm going to need all the help I can get with a Bowlerama.
Ah, yes.
I need your help, everybody. I need somebody who can bowl. I cannot bowl. I bowled once when I was a kid. I picked up a bowling ball and they told us, okay, this is what you do. I bowled a strike. You know how that can happen one time when you're 12? Never happens again. So I only went bowling one more time after that. I bombed. I've got to learn how to bowl. I don't have any time to learn. And so I just need a team of people that are good at it. Because
I think the purpose is not that you make strikes, but that you look good doing it.
Right. And
the whole point that's going to be a problem.
The whole point of bowling is it's the one sport you can partake in with like a beer in your hand. You know, that's,
you are lovely. You're going to ace this.
Now, for the record, when you're not a strong bowler, the secret is just to take your time. And the reason I know this is because I am not a strong bowler. But I can rely, if I don't get rushed, if I just take my time, I do fairly well. And it just, aim at the arrows. Don't aim at the pins, aim at the arrows. You'll know what I'm talking about when you're in the alley. Another thing you mentioned about animals having amazing healing abilities. Okay, we'll talk about cats since you're a cat person. I've been told by several psychics that they extend that healing ability to humans. In other words, they not only worry about themselves, they do worry about keeping us as healthy as they can. In the cat's case, it's probably so that we will feed them. But the point is, in your experience, have you noticed that cats actually do worry about our well-being, or animals worry about our well-being as well as their own?
Well, a lot of the time people think it's all about food. Maybe because for humans it might not be all about food. And for cats, it doesn't have to be all about food. It might have nothing to do with them getting fed. I mean, the experiences that I've had, it's hard to find somebody who hasn't had an experience like this, where one night I hurt a knee and I didn't put a cast on it. There was no indication that I woke up. I woke up in the middle of the night, my cat was on my knee. And the next morning, the knee was a lot better. A lot better. The next time was a cat that couldn't be touched. She was just completely ferocious. I took her home for her to die in my arms, because half her body was missing. She was the cat of a very famous author, and she'd been attacked by a dog, and her whole back was a cavernous, bloody cave. I took her home and told her she was perfect in every way, and that we were going to enjoy every second she had left. And I'd bring things for her to touch or smell or eat or play with what she could move, which was only her 2 front feet. She had healed her previous owner of incurable cancer. She healed herself of leukemia. She healed herself of impossible spinal damage. Then she healed herself of this. And I heard all her hair came back. Now, she's a star of this book. And I think also this is where the Queen's Horse is. That story is. I mean, we need about 12 hours, not 1 hour, to talk about all these things. There's so much to talk about. So everything I'm saying, I get confirmed all over the world. I woke up in the middle of the night with a really sore throat. I went to bed sick. I wake up in the middle of the night. She's standing on me, staring into my eyes, and she has one little paw on my throat. And I'm looking in her eyes, and I said, Floribel, Flo, whole land Flo, can you heal this? Yes. And she did. The next day it was gone. So, yes, they have healing. All animals do, because if we use them as a conduit, they're like a portal into this beautiful world where all of the creators' creations live, including us. We've just gotten out of touch with how to be happy and have fun and enjoy our lives and enjoy each other and enjoy music and dancing, and we're gonna make up for that at the Scarefest. So we're gonna have as much fun as we possibly can.
It does tend to happen. It does tend to happen. Okay, we're gonna give a shout out to our Scarefest sponsors thus far. I've got one more that I don't even have the banner done on yet, so I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked for that. But that being said, Wildcat Moving, the official mover of the Scarefest. Home, business, residential, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you, they are lifesavers. Lifesavers. They move all of our props in. They move all of our props out. They earn their money just at Comic-Con moving that big-ass set piece we took. Blyce Paranormal Productions. Now, they are a featured vendor, full featured vendor. We're going to start calling them sponsoring vendors. We need a new name for that. It's confusing. Blyce Paranormal Productions. So if you want to have a paranormal team and you just want to do your own little documentary, but you don't have the skills, the Blyce do. Contact them on Facebook. Look them up. Blyce Bids. BLYTHEVIDS. Sacred Mountain Tattoo, close to Pikeville, Kentucky. They will be at the Scarefest. They have a booth set up. We got a pretty good little lineup of tattoo artists this year, but now Sacred Mountain Tattoo, of course, is one of the top. And they are one of our sponsoring vendors. Expert tattooing and body piercing in the Sacred Mountain, by the Sacred Mountain Tattoo Team. Coal Run Village. Don't know where that is, but it's north of Pikeville. I do know where that is. And Zombie Cow. Zombie Cow is a sponsoring vendor. Custom art, stainless steel tumblers, FX makeup, silicone, FX for prosthetics, which I had no idea they did until I did the ad. Mask, and so much more. Check them out at the Scarefest or look them up on Facebook, facebook.com, The Zombie Cow. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Okay, here's a plug for you. Now, the safari, are you doing that this year?
Okay, I'm going to update. I'm in the middle of updating a website. So I've got a website under construction. And when we get it happening, yes, November, I'll be teaching around the country, I hope again. Another plug, if you're interested in what we're talking about with animals and metaphysics and developing your own intuition and ability, 50 case studies in the book. This is all my how-tos. Up on this new website, I mean, we've already got my meditations and some of the lessons. And you click on it, you'll get an audio sent to your computer. So some of those things are for sale. And y'all coming to this Scarefest, speaking of tattoos, if you show up with a tattoo of me on your body, I'll give you a free poster. And I'm going to take a lot of pictures of you too. So I and my co-star Linnea Quigley will be with me. I think Hal Havens is going to fly out from LA. I'm trying to secure that. Alvin Alexis, maybe, I don't know.
We've announced them. They're contracted. They're supposed to be there.
All right. Alvin's coming. I'm going to be in costume. So get your photo ops with me in costume. Bring every piece of memorabilia that you've got, whether it's the movies, the dolls, things you painted, your own artwork, T-shirts, and I'll sign everything for you. So having this in costume photo opportunity, especially with Linnea and Hal Stooge, it's a big deal. And if Alvin Alexis is going to be there, it's a big deal. So come everybody and have that opportunity to get a cast photo with us.
It's going to be huge.
That was so much better than anything I could have said. That's just all there is to it. So there you have it, everybody.
You had a lot of commercials and you've done them really well. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody, of course, you can meet Amelia Kinkade at the Scarefest coming up October 22nd through 24th. Don't forget her. I want to see your bowling team sell out tonight. Let's make that happen, everybody.
We've got Amelia Kinkade in costume, photo ops, and bowling. Buy your tickets now. They are going to sell out.
Now I'm gonna clarify so everybody doesn't blast me on Facebook. Her individual photo ops are on sale right now. I do not see where they put the group up yet, but that is just because we only announced Alexis and Hal last week. So I probably have
what I should have said when you said, "Is there anything you can do?" I should have said, "I don't bowl." I don't speak Korean yet, and I don't.
And you don't.
Yet.
Just throw the ball and look pretty.
Right. That's all.
I did it when I was 12. Strike.
Well, that was like the last time I did it sober. So it's. When I was 12, that was probably the last time I wasn't drinking when I did it. So it's like the same thing, almost the same thing. Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We've had a lot of fun this week. We'll be back next week talking to PJ Starks about his movie that we're premiering for him. See you next week.